the dude that I followed on Twitter that makes combo videos is now you're like running basically a bunch of shit for Summit. I was like, oh shit, that's dope. And then, obviously Ludwig steals all of you guys for all of his stuff. And I was just like, it's just cool production everywhere it seemed that you guys went. So talk about your introduction into Summit and like how do you go from like this COD kid who plays Smash and like to like knowing how to make shit?
That's nice. That's good. That's real ones now. So to keep a super long story short, I started like when I was younger. I'm only 27 now, but so I consider myself much more like a kid of the internet than of like traditional film and stuff. Like I didn't grow up wanting to be a filmmaker. I didn't even grow up watching a lot of movies. I grew up watching internet content and YouTube and E-Bombs World and Flash animations and Newgrounds and stuff. And I was like, this is what I want. I want to be a YouTuber 100%. I was like 10 when I realized that. I was like, I want to do this 100%. And I started a YouTube channel. I started with stop motion, like a lot of video people do. And I was watching people like Smosh and like Freddie Wong. And I was like, I just want to be these guys. And I asked my parents to send me to a video editing camp. I went to summer camp for people who wanted to learn Adobe. And I learned After Effects and Premiere and Final Cut. And Final Cut editor?
That's us.
It's like, I don't know, it's like 11 of you now.
We're still kicking though.
and fast forward a bit, I started playing Call of Duty. Naturally, I want to edit my own montages because I know how to do that kind of stuff, and so I did. And then fast forward again, I'm graduating college. I'm having my life crisis. I'm like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I hate my job. I hate school. I love playing Melee, but I'm not going to do that. Like, I never saw myself as someone who would like go pro in a game. Like I knew I wanted to do something creative. And so I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? And then when Slime got hired to Summit, it was the only person I think any of us who knew Slime knew who worked in esports. We were like, what? You can do that? What?
Oh, really?
Like everyone was just like so hyped for him, but also like, wait, that's a real thing?
Right, yeah.
Like we didn't even know that was a thing. And like people who like worked at like esports teams, we were like, are those actually companies? Like we didn't know we didn't know if they were companies. Like we didn't really think about it that way. At least I didn't. And it was so cool that he was able to, we were all watching Smash Summit every year and we're like, this is the dopest event by far for this game right now. And when he started working there, we were like, holy shit. Like, and so I instantly was like, dude, can I work here? Like, what's my skill set? And I was like, I actually have kind of a portfolio. Like, my first gig I ever got in esports was a Red Bull gig. Okay. I did the motion graphics for a documentary about Alex Myers, the fighting game player. And that was like my first gig. And so I put it on my portfolio.
It's a crazy first gig.
Yeah. It was actually like a really high paying. There was a guy from Melee who made a documentary called 60 Frames. And he ended up working at Red Bull. And then I knew him because he was from Cali and in the Melee scene. He was like, you do video stuff? He's like, you want to help on this thing? And I was like, yes.
Sure.
And then I took the gig and it was like, it was one of those like, just tell me how many hours you worked. It's $50 an hour. I'm like, $50 an hour? I'm in college. I'm like,
right.
I was like, I worked a lot of hours. And they're like, here's a lot of money. And I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
And so I put it on my portfolio. And then I started making a bunch of spec work for Summit. I was like, I want to work there. I'm going to build a bunch of like spec jobs of like, oh, I'm going to build them new intros for their content. I'm going to build them like broadcast graphics. And so I built a bunch of spec stuff and I sent it to them in a portfolio and I was like, hey, I want to work here. I made some stuff. Tell me if you like it. I like motion graphics. That's what I want to do. That's what I always thought I wanted to do at that point. I thought I wanted to be a motion designer.
Okay.
And Dan, who was the director of content at Beyond the Summit, hit me back and he was like, hey, let's interview. Interviewed, went really, really well. And then he was like, why don't you come shoot photos of this event? And I was like, yeah, I'm a photographer. I'll do that. I wasn't. I lied. Grabbed my girlfriend's camera, shot the event, went well. And then they were like, hey, do you know how to process 360 footage? And I was like, yeah, of course. I did not. I had never done that in my life.
Right.
And they were like, can you come do that at the studio next week? We need someone to do it. And we're like behind in a documentary. And I was like, absolutely.
I'll be there.
They asked me day of. And I was like, can you be here in an hour? And I'm like, I can be there in an hour and a half. I was like 10 minutes away. Like I could be there so fast. And I was like, yeah, give me like an hour and a half.
You had to learn?
I just learned it on YouTube, drove over, tried to memorize it all, and then like did it through memory, and then I just did it. It wasn't even that hard. It was like, it's just whatever. And then they asked me to join up, and that was like, my whole life was like, oh my God, my life has meaning now. Like it was like a transformation. I was like I'm in college. I had a marketing degree. I don't remember anything I learned. Like I cheated in like every single fucking class. Like I like totally bullshit school. I was just playing Melee every day at the local like Melee club at school. And I was
Your
just
college had a Melee club?
Yeah.
Did you start?
That's how I met like all my friends. Like the way I met Slime was my buddy Garrett.
Is that ASU?
Yeah. My buddy Garrett started a Smash House and was like, I went to Smash Club's like one of their tournaments, and then I was like, I need a place to live. I'm coming to this school soon. Can I live with you? And he was like, yeah, let's like hang out first.
Yeah.
Hung out, and then I moved in with them, and he was friends with Slime, so I ended up meeting Slime.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So then you said everything changed. You go to Summit.
Everything changed. I thought I would work there for 30 years. I was like, I've made it. I have a job in my favorite thing in the universe, and it's both my favorite things. It's video and video games. It's all of it. Like
Especially
everything I love,
Smash,
and fucking Smash. So I was like, everything I love is here. I'm gonna be here forever. I'll be here until this company is no longer a thing.
Was Dota still going on when you were there?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it was going on like years into me being there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When did Dota stop? When did it become just Smash?
It was never just Smash.
Really?
No.
Maybe I just fell out of.
There was Dota Summit, Counter-Strike Summit, Rocket League Summit,
I don't even remember.
Mortal Kombat Summit, Smash Summit, Ultimate Summit. We did a couple random mobile game events that were like white label.
Are these like one-off?
Some of them, Mortal Kombat was one-off. Rocket League had 2. Counter-Strike, Dota, Smash had a bunch.
Okay.
But like the other one, Rocket League Summit was like a huge success. Like it was like a big event.
I'm sure it was. I just don't think I didn't know anything about Rocket
They're
League.
very insular. Like they're very like those communities watch it, and outside communities
for sure.
don't really.
Same house though, right? Same venue and everything. That's so sick.
Because Summit was in a house, and when I started working there, we were still at the house.
Yeah.
And there's been a few houses, so I wasn't at the original house. The employees lived and were
I think I did know that.
It was like both, and I was.
Was that like I think Counter-Strike? I think the Optic Boys when we had a Counter-Strike team, I think they played.
Yeah, that would make sense.
They played in maybe the first house. They definitely played in a Summit. I can't remember because there's like a picture of like Tarek and all the guys like in their Optic jerseys on couches.
Dude, it was like my first Summit I worked technically was Summit of Power. I think my first Summit as an employee was Smash. Maybe it was Counter-Strike Summit or Dota. No, it was like Dota Summit 8 or something. It was like Dota Summit. And I remember just like walking around and I'm just like, holy fuck. Like the thing that's on TV is now I'm in the thing on TV. Like the thing that I was watching on the screen, I'm walking in. I feel like I was in VR. I was like, holy fuck.
I felt
I'm like
that too.
touching this table. I'm like, I watched this table on TV. I didn't realize it was wood.
Yeah.
Like
I remember when I first visited the Optic House, Hector was like, all right, let me give you the tour. He's running I don't know if you remember Hector, but he's very bam, like matter of fact all the time. And he's like, here's this, that. He was like, if you need anything here, I got a dip. And then I sat down next to Nick. I had just met him. And he was like, so was that tour weird? And I was like, dude, I already knew where everything was. Like I had watched all the videos, you know, like I was like a fan of everything. So like him telling me everything, I was just like playing along like, oh, that's cool. You know what I mean? So yeah, I know the exact feeling of what you're talking about. And then, so working at Summit, did you feel, was there ever, like, were you happy the whole time at Summit?
Basically, yeah. I think like I was between Summit and Team Liquid at the time. Okay. And I did like a week at Team Liquid, like doing a trial run for a job there basically. And I remember I was having a really hard time choosing because the offer from Team Liquid was going to be more money, but the offer from Summit felt like it was a little bit more like this product that I'm watching. Like I care about the products they're making, and maybe that's better. But I was young. I was just out of college. I hadn't graduated yet. I was graduating like in 3 months, and I was like, I don't know. I don't want to.
Holy shit.
And my ex, well, it's funny. Like my boss at Summit, who is no longer my boss, but now works at Off Brand. I still work with him. He told me as the person trying to hire me, he was like, this is what you're going to get out of working there. This is what you're going to get out of working here. You just need to decide which one you want. And working there, he was like, you are going to get really, really good at one thing. You will become a master of one thing. Maybe it'll be editing. Maybe it'll be videography. Maybe it'll be directing. He's like, but if you come here, you're going to do everything. So you will get pretty good at like everything in the video pipeline because you'll have to do it. And at the time, I was so like, I don't really know exactly what I want. So it felt like a better choice to just go do everything. And that is what I fucking did when I got there. Like it was just like, there was shoots where I was directing, holding the boom pole. I wrote the idea. I'm also going to edit this later.
That's
and there's
literally
no one else in the room.
You're just explaining Matt's job. Matt's editing this. He fucking.
And to be honest, like over time that sucks. Like over time that does get like, why am I fucking?
No, Matt loves it.
Yeah, no,
yeah, right.
Great. Yeah, it's always good.
Yeah,
Never bad.
That's my guy.
Never bad. Never have mental breakdowns
But-
in the corner.
But when I finally quit, if you asked me at that point, I would have said, I don't want to quit. I just have to. Like, because what happened was basically we started the yard and I'm doing mogul moves full time.
Holy shit.
So I was in the yard full time. I was doing the mogul moves full time, and I was still full time at Summit.
See, I didn't know
like
that.
driving to the office every day. It was like, it wasn't a remote job.
Wow.
And so I got to a point where I was like looking at the pie chart of my life. Like, what do I even like pay attention to my health? like what is my time spent doing? And all of it was work, all of it. Like I wasn't even sleeping much. So I was just like, something has to go. Makes no sense for that to be the yard right now. Like we just started it like exploded immediately. And I'm like, I need to like nurture this thing. Mogul Moves at the time wasn't a big enough like slice. Like if I got rid of it, I'd still have the kind of the same problem.
Yeah.
And Summit, I was just like, this has kind of run its course for me. Like I've done this for years now. And my big problem at Summit, because I did not work on the broadcast side of things. I worked on the video pre-recorded content side of things, which they work together, but they're very different departments.
Yeah.
It always really bothered me that we would work really, really hard on stuff, make some of the better content in gaming and esports, and then after the broadcast, no one would watch it.
Yeah.
These things would go die on YouTube, like with embarrassingly low numbers, because Summit had this like really bad, like no one really like fleshed out a content strategy ever, and we upload content to the same channels we upload VODs of tournaments to, and so like some channels get thousands of uploads in a day, and some of those are content. Like how are you gonna find that? And the algorithm for that channel was fucked, and blah blah blah. And I got to a point where I was like, one, I really need to go focus on this yard thing. I think it can be big, and I think it could be like the main thing I do. And two, like I want to make things people watch. Like I want to be working on stuff that isn't just like for the passion. And sure, it gets appreciated when it goes live on a broadcast and there's like, 80 to 100,000 viewers looking at it.
Yeah.
But I knew I was able to make stuff that more people saw. And I really, really wanted that.